Okay, so finally, I'm here ready to do chapter 4 of my life. When talking about the addictions, the addiction, major one, um, and how I overcame it without anybody's support or help. So, anyway, got divorced, right? And upon that divorce, I had got invested in a sound system. You know, two 24-channel boards, the stacks, you know, speaker stacks, the monitors, all the microphones and wires and everything to hook everything up, and the amps and everything. Yeah, so I ran sound company for bands. Okay, we did Battle of the Bands one year at York Fair, and did some sound work for York College as well. But anyway, as we were doing that, the guy that I got involved with, Lee Edward Nail, he still holds a place in my heart, by the way. He was the only one that supported my singing and my passion for that. So he still has a little place there. But while we were involved with the band scene for like 10 years, yeah, I started smoking pot after I found out that I couldn't have kids and all this stuff, right? So I understand now why I did what I did, but back then it was just whatever it was. So while I was singing and all that stuff, musicians, back then, were into cocaine. Okay, more so than weed. And so when I'd perform, I was lead singer for several different bands, in and out, through over a matter of 10 years. Lead singer, percussionist, not drums, percussionist, there's a difference. Which I really love and enjoy performing, but the cocaine is where I got hung up. The first time I was introduced to cocaine was when I was married to Kevin. We'd go to the shore, and his brothers and their girlfriends and Cheryl and all that, they would always do it. But Kevin was straight, and they wouldn't give me any, even though I asked, because I was with Kevin. So anyway, when it came around to this point in time, and I knew it was available, I'm like, okay, let's try it. Because at that time, I was in a lot of pain emotionally, spiritually, physically, and going through, felt like an after I wasn't able to have kids after 3 years of trying to go through invasive procedures and artificial inseminations and crap, and then later find out that I needed total hysterectomy, and had a total nervous breakdown at 30 years old. All in 1 year, the same year, I was a microsystems analyst for McCrory's. I created the first point-of-sale system. I programmed it, and then the IT enhanced it and put it out to the whole company. And I wrote the manual for training and trained all the upper levels so that it could trickle down into the rest of the stores. So I did, I had a pretty good job. So anyway, I had a permanent layoff from McCrory's. I was offered a programming position with Blue Shield in Harrisburg, and I refused it for some reason. I wasn't thinking right back then. So anyway, after getting the divorce, okay, so let me slow down here. The divorce, all in 1 year. He wanted a divorce. Then I had total hysterectomy done, which threw me into menopause. Okay. Then I had a permanent layoff from my job. And I moved from a brand new house that no one else ever lived in before me. We had it brand new, into a fucking second floor apartment with no, and so that all happened in 1 year. So I kind of went through a total nervous breakdown. Okay, so that's where I went into music. Music is my outlet still, but the cocaine is where I got hung up. It made me feel good. It eliminated my pain. It made me happy. Um, and it is my drug of choice, but it is also the devil's drug and led me down a really bad road. So after doing coke a lot with the music scene and all that stuff, I was introduced to smoking it. And so at that point, I was doing a lot of, just trying to support my habit. And I wasn't able to sell my body to support the habit. Back then I didn't have money, and so I had to figure something out. And so I sold product, got set up, and for large quantities. The reason I sold it was because the dealer I was involved with gave me what I needed for myself for free, as long as I sold his product. Okay, it's pretty intense. Okay, so anyway, I was set up and I got caught. Okay, and in the meantime, before I decided to sell product, I was out one night because I needed a fix, and I was jumped by a gang in the jungle of York and stabbed in my left eye. Retina was sliced and bled out. They tried to take my money and my MR2. I had a beautiful car then. I fought my way out of it, but I was left 100% blind in my left eye. Okay, so now all I see is black in my left eye from being stabbed. Okay. So I had to learn to see differently. Anyway, and when I get tired, you could tell because it goes always in. That's the only way you can really tell that I'm blind, I guess. So anyway, after that happened, you would think that going through that, it would have stopped me. I would have stopped. You would have think that. But it didn't. It didn't. So I got set up. I got raided. They came into my house, a whole bunch of them with a gun at me and ripping my house apart and all that stuff. And I got busted for selling. And at that point, I was looking at 25 plus years in jail. And thank God for Harry Ness, because I hired him and he gave me 5 minutes to explain my story, to see if he would help me. And within 5 minutes, I explained to him what had happened, where it came from, why I understood why, I went and did all that stuff. And he helped me. And I worked with the DA. And I was in jail. They put me in jail for like a week, and then they got me out and put me on house arrest for like 3 months and then 2 years without my car. But that is what got me to stop, is being in that jail for 1 week. That made me realize that this is not what I want in my life. So I came home and I cold turkeyed it. I eliminated people in my life that were involved with it. I moved. I eliminated all the friends. I completely changed my life. Now I did this without anybody's support, without any type of help. I did it on my own. And you have to be strong. But see, I understand now, you know, addictions is a disease. People do that to escape their misery. They do it to escape their pain, their emotional, their spiritual, their broken hearts. Um, and, and, and instead of um, being taught to turn in, to find relief, to turn in, instead of going outward to the cocaine to find relief, which is what I learned, you got to turn inward to find the peace of mind and to relief and heal yourself. And that's what I did without anybody's help. And so that's the cocaine addiction part. Yes, I got 2 felonies from it. And they were nonviolent crimes, but today I'm 65 freaking years old. And this happened 35 years ago. And it's still, it's still there. That should be eliminated from my record. It was a nonviolent crime, and it's been 35 years, and I haven't been in one bit of trouble since. But, so, I know there was a lot of crazy times in there when I perform. A lot of people would come up and just give me, hand me some drugs for free. And back then I was a little crazy, I just didn't care. I'd just go ahead and thanks, man, take it, not think. Today, it'd be a wholly different story. I'd tell them to get away from me. So I guess all I'm saying is, if I can do it, if I can get myself off of 10 years of using cocaine addiction, so can you. And there's others that, my next chapter, I'm going to get into all the 15 different surgeries I've had and all the handfuls of prescriptions: morphine, Vicodin, methocarbamol, gabapentin, Ativan, Klonopin, Wellbutrin, everything else they had me on for 32 years until I told them to, excuse my language, but to go fuck themselves, all the 5 doctors I was seeing, because I asked them and begged them to get me off these prescriptions, and they all refused. I told them, I'll go fuck yourselves. And it took me 2 years to get off all that on my own with no support, nobody to help me. Nobody to help me get through withdrawals or none of that. But I did it. Took me 2 years. I got off all the prescriptions. And now I feel 100% better than I ever did under a doctor's care. But we'll get into that in chapter 5. I want to talk to that a little bit. So yeah, this is the addiction phase I went through, about 10 years, being in and out of bands, being crazy, having fun. But it, cocaine's devil's drug. Anything that makes you feel that good that's fake, it's not good. Bad stuff. You want it to be real. So in order for it to be real, you have to go inwards to your heart, your soul, your spirit, and do that dark shadow work, to heal yourself. And it's not easy. I ain't gonna sit here and tell you it was, because it was a frickin' nightmare. But, so anyway, people have been waiting on chapter 4, and this is a very shortened version. So that's chapter 4, my addictions with cocaine. I hope this helps somebody. You can do it. If I could have done it myself with nobody there to help, so can you. Stay strong. You got this.